All right, moving right along, we're going to talk some more about this Iowa blowout by Donald Trump. Joining us, Mark Simone, Hall of Fame WOR radio host, and Joe Concha, media and politics columnist at The Messenger and Fox News contributor. Mark Simone, where does this leave Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis? Because they lost, but they lost by a lot, lower expectations. And I don't think anybody expected this kind of thing. Now, they're going on to New Hampshire and South Carolina, but I don't understand. What's their path to victory?
There is no path to victory. There's no, they're talking about second place. You're 30 points behind in the biggest landslide blowout in Iowa history. And by the way, Trump would have had another 5 points, but a lot of his supporters said they knew he would win from the polls, and they didn't want to go out in the just awful weather. So DeSantis said, what did he say? I got my ticket stamped. You got your clock cleaned. He said, I'm still standing. You're crawling, just barely.
I didn't understand that either, because first of all, Governor DeSantis did not have the graciousness to at least congratulate Trump. Haley did. Trump was very gracious to both of them last night, and so I didn't know. And he got his ticket punched into where? He's very far behind in the polls in New Hampshire, and he's very far behind in the polls in South Carolina. Look, I don't want to just beat up on him. I'm just saying that's what the polling numbers show. Polls are not votes, although polls had a very good night last night, as it turns out. Where's this ticket, or is this a ticket to nowhere? It's
nowhere. Tampa Bay, if the other team loses, you can't say, well, we're in second place. You lost the game. You got wiped out. So it's a big, big victory for Trump. The Eastern establishment, the Dems and the media, they'll tell you how great DeSantis is, how great Nikki Haley is. It got to the heartland. Iowa is the heartland, real America. They're not voting about January 6th. They're voting about border pocketbooks, and that's where Trump won big.
Can I, Joe, want to get you in a minute. I want to, if we can replay Trump's very gracious unity call that he made last night. It was the first thing he delved into before he got to any of the issues. I think we have it on sound, and then you can comment on it. Here it comes.
Okay.
Here it comes.
I want to congratulate Ron and Nikki for having a good time together. We're all having a good time together. And I think they both actually did very well. I also want to congratulate Vivek, because he did a hell of a job. He came from 0, and he's got a big percent, probably 8%, almost 8%, and that's an amazing job. They all did. They're all very smart people, very capable people.
Joe Concha, I think he struck the right tone. He was extremely gracious. It's a unity call, but he did say how well they did. And, of course, Vivek came around, dropped out of the race, and endorsed Trump. I don't want to say this is the new Trump, because I know this side of the president, but I'm not sure everybody else knows this side of the president. But this is the Trump we saw in the Fox town hall meeting. That may have been an inflection point in his entire campaign. What do you make of this? And you think it had any impact on former Governor Haley and Governor DeSantis?
Larry, I think charming, magnanimous Trump is better than angry Trump, right? And because he exudes confidence in those situations, right? He seems like he's above the fray. The fact that he used Ron and Nikki, right? DeSanctimonious, I guess, took the night off.
Yes.
So that all reflected well. But I want to get back to Ron DeSantis. Mark is right. There is no path here. One poll that came out today, American Research, Trump 40, Haley 40 in New Hampshire. She overwhelmingly gets non-Republican voters to her side, like we've talked about on the show. You know where DeSantis is at? 4% in New Hampshire, to the point that he flew to South Carolina after Iowa, basically punting on New Hampshire. I don't see a path for him. If Haley wins New Hampshire, then it's a two-person race. DeSantis probably drops out. And then we might see Trump and Haley on a debate stage, because Trump can't say, I have a big lead. I'm not going to debate.
Is there a playoff game in South Carolina? Why did DeSantis hustle down there so fast?
No playoff game in South Carolina, no NFL team in South Carolina.
Not yet.
So not quite sure.
Mark Simone, you think it's going to be a toss-up in New Hampshire?
You can't go by New Hampshire. New Hampshire's a freaky place. They allow anybody and everybody to vote. It won't be a real barometer of anything.
The big push, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's a big push by the governor, who is a Republican, Sununu. But there's a big push by everybody to enroll Democrats and or Democrat-leaning independents. Now, I don't know how this will turn out because they may come out for Trump too, but I'm a little skeptical of the quality of the results. That's what in New Hampshire.
No, it's all muddied up, and half of New Hampshire is a big suburb of Boston.
Yep.
It's the MIT, Cambridge sort of crowd. I wouldn't go by them. This was a true test last night, and there was an unbelievable landslide for Donald Trump. It was a bad night in Davos last night.
Davos.
They were
quaking in their blue. I wanted to save this for Alex Marlowe of Breitbart, but now that you broke that, yes, they can't be happy.
They were tossing and turning.
Trump is back.
And
he's tanned, rested, and ready, and he's going to come after them. Ooh.
It was such a big
chill
night.
Up my spine.
So big for Trump that MSNBC refused, a news organization, refused to broadcast his speech.
Can we talk about that for a minute, Joe Concha?
Yeah.
That's really unbelievable. And CNN broke away. MSNBC wouldn't even give him a paragraph or two.
Because they say that they don't allow lies on their network and they're going to protect their viewers from Donald Trump, the odds-on favorite not only to win the GOP nomination, but the presidency. They'll say that and then in the same breath say, and stick around later for our special guest, Adam Schiff, who would never lie on their air. And then we're going to go to Michael Avenatti from Cell Block 8.
And after that is Fannie Willis.
Yeah, Fannie Willis will be there as well, sure.
Sex, lies, and videotape. How's she doing, Fannie Willis?
Not well. You know, they also claim that Donald Trump is anti-immigrant. He's married to an immigrant. How could he be anti-immigrant?
Yeah, that was CNN, actually. And Jake Tapper also pulled CNN's coverage off and said, we can't show you this anymore because of Donald Trump's anti-immigrant rhetoric. Donald Trump is not anti-immigrant. To Mark's point, he's married to one. He is all for legal immigration and coming through the process properly. It's illegal immigration that turned out to be in the entrance polls last night out of Iowa, the number one issue, even more than the economy, Larry. But nope, CNN's not going to talk about that.
I'm sorry to hear that. Jake Tapper's a friend of mine. I think he's a pretty good journalist. I'm just going to say I'm sorry to hear that.
Performance art, that's what it was.
It wasn't, yeah, it wasn't good.
The friends and relatives watching probably weren't offended, though.
Mark Simone, go out on a limb. When does Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis drop out of the race?
Well,
about when?
She'll stick around for New Hampshire. She has to get out of South Carolina, I think, because she's going to lose there. She's way behind. DeSantis is like 30 points behind in Florida. He'll have to get out.
Last one, Joe Concha.
DeSantis out after New Hampshire, Haley out after South Carolina. Yeah.
I agree with that. Mark Simone, Joe Concha, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.